Join me as I take on the challenge of cutting off toxic people from my life and see how it changes everything. Did you know that toxic relationships can increase your risk of depression and anxiety by up to 50%? According to Journal of Health and Social Behavior, people in strained relationships are 3 times more likely to suffer from depression and anxiety than those in supportive ones. Let that sink in. That means someone who smiles at family dinners goes home to sleepless nights. Someone who shares their space with a partner or a parent may feel lonelier than someone living completely alone. Today, I'm inviting you to walk with me through one of the hardest, most soul-stretching decisions you can ever make, cutting off toxic people from your life, including family. This is not an easy conversation, but it's necessary, and with the guidance of ancient Stoic wisdom, it's one that transformed me forever. This isn't just about bad vibes or occasional disagreements. It's about the chronic stress, emotional turmoil, and psychological damage that toxic individuals inflict, often subtly and over time. Toxic people are those who consistently drain your energy, undermine your confidence, and disrupt your peace. They can be friends, colleagues, or even family members. Their behaviors, be it manipulation, constant criticism, or emotional blackmail, can hinder your personal growth and happiness. The hard truth is that not everyone who's in your life deserves to stay, and not everyone who raised you was capable of love in the way you needed it. That's hard to say, but we're going to talk about it. So what does Stoicism, this ancient school of philosophy that preaches resilience, reason, and virtue, have to say about this? Turns out, a lot. Stoics didn't just write about emperors and gods. They wrote about people. They wrote about pain, and they wrote about how to protect your soul from being fractured by others. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches us to focus on what we can control and to maintain inner tranquility despite external chaos. By applying Stoic principles, we can navigate the complexities of toxic relationships and make decisions that prioritize our well-being. Toxic relationships aren't always obvious. They don't come with warning labels or villain music. They sneak in. You start to doubt yourself. You walk on eggshells. You shrink. And worst of all, you start to believe that this is just what love or loyalty looks like. Let me ask you a few hard questions and answer them honestly. Do you feel worse after talking to them? Do they dismiss or minimize your feelings? Do you feel obligated to maintain the relationship even though it's draining? Do they always make themselves the victim, even when they hurt you? If your answer is yes to more than one of these, chances are you're dealing with toxicity, and it's time to talk about how Stoicism can help us navigate that storm. Let's go deeper and look at some of the most common toxic behaviors, paired with Stoic reflections that offer clarity and courage. 1. The manipulator. If you really cared about me, you would. This is emotional blackmail at its finest. It makes you question your loyalty, love, and character. It makes them the victim and you the villain. You start doing things not out of love, but out of guilt. Toxic individuals often manipulate others to serve their own interests. They may use guilt, lies, or exaggeration to control situations. But as Epictetus says, no man is free who is not master of himself. If someone is manipulating your feelings to gain control, you are not free. You are enslaved, not by them, but by your unwillingness to walk away. 2. The critic. You're too sensitive. The classic deflection. They poke, they mock, they criticize, and when you speak up, you're the problem. They tell you to grow thicker skin. Marcus Aurelius had something to say about that. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I am not harmed. The Stoics didn't pretend bad people didn't exist. They just decided not to let those people control their inner peace. 3. The energy vampire. It's always about them. They unload on you. They vent, rant, cry, rage. But when it's your turn, they ghost. They don't listen. They make your pain about themselves. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." If the relationship only flows one way, toward them, it's not a relationship, it's a siphoning. 4. The saboteur. They celebrate your failures but downplay your wins. This is a quiet kind of toxicity. They cheer when you fall and scoff when you rise. Success threatens them. Your growth exposes their stagnation. But Stoicism tells us that envy is just an admission of inferiority. Marcus Aurelius said, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." Now I want to share something deeply personal, because this isn't just theory. I've lived this. For years, I stayed in close contact with a family member who, to outsiders, looked like a loving figure. They were charismatic, respected, and even generous at times. But behind closed doors, it was different. They controlled with shame. They invalidated my pain. And no matter how hard I tried to meet their expectations, it was never enough. I found myself dreading their phone calls. I'd replay conversations, second-guessing everything I said. My confidence dwindled. My joy dimmed. And still, I stayed, because, it's family. But then I stumbled upon this quote from Epictetus: "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." That hit me. I wasn't just being hurt, I was participating in my own suffering by staying silent and shrinking myself to avoid conflict. Another quote from Marcus Aurelius sealed it: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." I realized I couldn't change this person, but I could choose to protect my peace. So I made the hardest decision of my life. I sent them a letter, firm but kind. I told them I loved them, but I could no longer engage with the relationship as it stood. I blocked their number. I stopped attending family events where they'd be present. And then, silence. But not the scary kind. It was the peaceful kind. The kind where you breathe freely again. The kind where you sleep without anxiety gnawing at your chest. Was it easy? Did people judge me for it? Some did. But my mind, my spirit, it was finally mine again. Why it's okay to let go. If you're struggling with the idea of cutting off a toxic person, especially a family member, I want you to hear this. You are not betraying your family. You are honoring your mental health. Boundaries are not cruelty. They're self-respect. They're preservation. Stoicism doesn't ask us to be cold or unfeeling. It asks us to be rational, to act in harmony with nature, and nature doesn't thrive in toxicity. You wouldn't let a poisonous plant grow in your garden, so why allow one in your life? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. You don't need to hurt them back. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. Just walk away with grace. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to cut off a toxic person, even a parent, sibling, or spouse? What gave you the strength to do it? Or are you still struggling with the guilt and confusion? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more content like this, more Stoic tools for personal growth, more hard conversations made gentle, subscribe, check out the related videos on my channel. Let's walk this road together. So let's go through from frequently asked questions about cutting toxic people. 1. Is it unstoic to cut people off? Not at all. Stoicism is about living in accordance with reason and virtue. If someone disrupts your peace and harms your character, Stoic wisdom supports stepping away. 2. What if they're family? Don't I owe them something? You owe kindness, yes, but you do not owe access to your peace or mental health. Even Stoics like Epictetus were known to distance themselves from harmful individuals, family or not. 3. How can I set boundaries without feeling cruel? Be clear, kind, and firm. Boundaries aren't walls. They're gates that open to healthy love and close to destruction. 4. Can toxic relationships be healed instead of ended? Sometimes, if both parties are willing to grow and take responsibility, healing is possible. But if it's one-sided, withdrawal might be necessary. 5. How do I handle the guilt after cutting someone off? Remind yourself, guilt is not always a sign of wrongdoing. Sometimes it's a sign of conditioning. Reflect, breathe, and let go. 6. What are some Stoic practices to handle negativity? Practices include journaling, meditation, reflecting on Stoic quotes, and focusing on what you can control. 7. Can toxic relationships affect physical health? Yes. Chronic stress from toxic relationships can lead to health issues, like high blood pressure, weakened immune system, and more. 8. How do Stoics deal with regret? Stoics encourage us to learn from the past, not live in it. As Seneca said, begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life. This is a sensitive topic. It's heavy, it's personal. But if no one talks about it, we just stay trapped. So thank you for listening, for being open, for being brave. Remember, the road to peace is paved not just by who you let in, but by who you let go. Until next time, stay grounded, stay strong, and stay stoic.